life's final journey. They guarantee that when you pass, your family will be provided with all the support and reassurance they could possibly want. And no matter how long you live and how expensive a funeral is when you pass, there will always be sufficient funds available within the trust to cover the cost of all the funeral director's fees and services. You really will be in safe hands.
Good afternoon to you. You're watching Ideal World. My name is Denise Robinson. This hour is totally dedicated to SafeHands funeral plans. Not only are SafeHands funeral plans confirmed as being one of the most affordable in today's market, they're also the only funeral plan company officially endorsed by the National Federation of Funeral Directors. We're going to be joined today by William Eccleston, Will,
Hi.
Who's going to be telling us more about funeral plans and the industry in general. Later, we're going to talk to Terry Ryan, who is actually a funeral director. He'll give us his perspective on a benefit of funeral plans. And we're also going to be joined by Ian Peace, who is from Legacy Probate Services, to tell us about a very valuable lasting power of attorney and will service that would normally cost you about £428, but to Ideal World viewers today, it will be completely free of charge if you decide to buy a plan today. Now, let me give you the telephone number straight away. First of all, the number that you need to call is 0845 520 4000. 0845 520 4000. You can also, if you want to, go to SafeHands website, which is all the www.safehandsplans.co.uk/TV. Now, the advisors will be available for you to talk to up until about 8 o'clock tonight. I know it's something that doesn't come into our minds on a daily basis. I know it's something that we really, well, we don't even want to think about, but we all know that it's something that one day or the next we are going to want at some time. Now, I've been really very surprised and very pleased by doing a little bit of research into SafeHands at the fact that a lot more reasonable than I ever thought it would be, more of a helpful, friendly service. And you're going to find that. Do just stay with us because we're going to meet Will right now. So, hello, Will.
Hi, Denise.
Good to have you with us. Thank you very much. Now, before we actually start, would you just tell everybody at home briefly about SafeHands and the National Federation of Funeral Directors?
Okay, great. Well, SafeHands, if you like, was born in 2010, where there was a clear market need for a fairer priced funeral plan and a better deal for both the consumers and the funeral directors. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the National Federation of Funeral Directors, we're an independent trade body, okay, and we fully support what SafeHands are doing because our notions are to make the industry more fair for the consumers and the independent funeral directors.
Because it's one of the most trying times in our families' lives when they have to sort out what's going to happen to us. And also, the last thing that you want excuse me, is for your family members, your children, to be worried about finances. Now, I'm very surprised at how reasonable SafeHands and how easy SafeHands makes this event for us. I'm impressed. I'm totally impressed. Now, over the last few years, funeral costs have risen quite dramatically, haven't they?
Yes.
I think I was told about an article yesterday. I don't know if you saw it in the Daily Express, but you can always go on their website and check it out. But there was an article in the Daily Express yesterday talking about the rising costs of funeral plans. So tell us a little bit more about what's happening and what's projected.
Okay. Well, what the industry has shown us over the last 10 years in particular, For an average funeral, and let's talk an average, we talk about burials and cremations. We're covering everything today, okay? An average cost of a funeral 10 years ago was £1,500, okay? Sun Life have done a report that we're looking at, which basically suggests last year the average price of a funeral in the UK was just under £3,500.
Right.
Which is obviously quite a jump. It's over 2.5 times what it was 10 years ago. Yeah. And what worryingly we're now looking at is by 2029, by let's face it, 15 years' time, Sun Life are predicting that the average cost of a funeral in the UK is going to be over £10,000.
Now, apart from the fact that I don't want my family to have to find that sort of money when I'm gone, what's behind the rise in these costs?
I mean, yeah, like everything, you know, that we have in life, prices of things go up every single year. The facets of a funeral are very simple. They comprise a funeral director's fees, okay, and everything that he does, which we'll talk about. But then we have things called third-party fees. So doctors' fees, ministers' fees for carrying out the service, cremation or burial fees. And these things are going up on a regular basis. And as I say, the funeral industry is going up and up. By buying a SafeHands plan today, you can actually secure your funeral at today's prices to guard against any future rise.
That is perfect. Now, I'm going to give you the number again, because I know we don't want to think about it, but there are some very helpful planning advisors on the end of the phone lines that are happy just to talk to you if you want to just talk about it. That number again is 0845 520 4000. 0845 520 4000. So now I'm thinking in my head, hang on, if they're predicting it to be £10,000 in that many years' time, and it's about £3,000 now. I'm thinking you're going to plonk me in the middle, but you're not, are you? What is a prepaid plan?
Okay, what a prepaid plan is, okay, quite simply, is you pay a set amount, okay? So we have 3 individual plans at SafeHands. We have a Pearl plan, which is what we would call the industry standard plan. Everything you need to conduct what you would describe as a standard funeral, okay? And you can upgrade to a Sapphire and Pearl as we go through. The Pearl plan in particular covers everything you need. It's all your funeral director's fees. It covers disbursements costs, so it covers your cremation, it covers the doctor's fees, it covers your minister's fees. But it also covers care of the body that a lot of people don't realise. And all the time the funeral director comes in, it covers the funeral arrangements, okay, which is a very difficult thing to be doing. And in addition to that as well, okay, it's also covering, you know, everything else that you need from a personal level, so all your individual things. As we go up through the plans, you'll see that obviously you can have additional services as well.
So, Pearl, Sapphire.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the Sapphire plan now as well.
Okay.
Now, I bet you're already surprised at the plan price on the screen. I bet you expected them to be £5,000 or £6,000. So did I. So what does the Sapphire plan cover?
Okay, well, what the Sapphire plan does, okay, for £3,195, okay, you get everything that you would expect from a traditional funeral. In addition to that, okay, you get a following limousine, okay, for your friends or family to take between 6 and 10 people, okay, behind the hearse of your choice. And also you get 4 bearers to carry the coffin to the place where you're doing it as well. And
then from Sapphire, you move on to the Ruby plan.
Yes.
So we'll give you the Ruby plan. Again, please look at that plan price. It's not what you expected, is it? So what does this actually cover?
Okay. Well, again, everything is taken care of, okay? What we do is we're actually looking at, you get 2 following limousines if you have a larger family, okay, which is quite important. You get 24-hour bereavement assistance, okay, which you get with all of our plans. Okay, you also get a floral coffin spray as well, which is the flowers across the top. So it's really our executive. In addition to that, you will get a Premier Oak Veneered coffin or Rosewood Effect coffin in addition to that as well.
Now, I think it seems to be nowadays that there's 2 sort of distinct camps. There's the very traditional camp, but there's also the people that want to personalise, want to celebrate the life of their loved one. Just wanted to make sure that everybody at home was aware that whatever your thoughts and your feelings are, it can actually be tailored to suit your need. When you decide to take on board a plan, you can change venue, you can change things, that there's no cost for you to change them. It's actually what you want. And I just think it's incredible. So if like me, you would like to, amid the tears, leave people smiling, that's possible. The way that's right for you, the way that's right for your loved ones. The worst thing for me would be that my daughters and my husband, at a time when they're struggling with the fact that I'm not here anymore, then have to worry about all the days that they've got to invest in doing a plan. And you know what your children are like. They'd want you to have the best of every single thing, and then they'd spend more than I would want them to spend. I love the fact that you've got the opportunity to talk to SafeHands. You've got the opportunity to let their advisors help you. Because one thing that SafeHands don't want is for you to actually spend a lot more money than you need to spend. It's fabulous to know that when you buy a plan, that plan is then guaranteed. No matter how many years hence the event happens, you know that you've taken care. You can tick that box and forget it. You don't have to think about it anymore unless you decide you want to change the music or change other things about. It's just incredible. So pick up the phone. It's just a conversation. It's not one that you want to have, but we all know it's going to happen one day. And isn't it nice to know that what you want is what's going to happen? So pick up the phone, call 0845 520 4000. 0845 520 4000. Now, apart from taking the worry and the stress away from your partners, away from your loved ones, I'm just going to ask Will, apart from the financial benefits, are there any other benefits as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Denise. And what we find is the financial benefit of the plan is only the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. The real reason that people are taking out these plans in their thousands across the UK is because they can personalise the service, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay. They can talk about what sort of music they want playing, what clothes they want to wear in their coffin.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic. They can talk about what they want the mourners to wear at the service.
Yeah.
What readings they want, who they want to read it, even down to we have some requests of who they don't want in the funeral.
Yeah.
You really can plan the day. It's your day. It's your last final decision. And actually, it saves our customers thinking, what would Mum have wanted? What would Nan have wanted?
Yeah.
Well, they've told you. And not only have they told you, they've secured it at today's great price as well.
Now, I'd also like you to meet Funeral Director Terry. So, Terry, please come and join me.
Hello,
lovely
Denise.
to have you
Nice
with
to
us.
meet you.
I'd like to pop you here.
Thank you.
Now, Terry, can I ask you, I know because we've been talking that your role is to see the family, to see the bereaved and to comfort and organise and take the worry out of their hands,
That's right,
isn't
yes.
it?
It is, yes.
So what sort of unusual requests do you sometimes get? Because people want it to be an individual celebration of their life, don't
Well,
they?
it's all about the clothes that people want to wear on
Yeah.
the funeral. They might want everybody to wear football shirts, things like that, colourful clothes like pink,
Yeah,
and just things like that they want.
yeah. So you go along and you visit the family.
Well, our first port of call is to go visit the family, and
Yeah.
what we do is we just ease them and everything, make sure they're all right first,
Yeah.
maybe spend an hour to 2 hours with them
Yeah.
before we take the loved one away and make sure that they're comfortable with that. That's so important that you've got to make sure they're at ease.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you that number again, 0845 520 4000, because I'd like you to be able to forget it. I want to be able to forget it myself as well. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, I think you might have noticed what's beside us here. This is... Well, I think this is a beautiful memory. This is from Colourful Coffins.
That's right, yes.
And Terry, this was a special request, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yes. Somebody asked for all the photographs of the father putting on the coffin, and we ended up with a coffin like this for them.
Now, it was a lady called Nicole.
That's right, yes.
And Nicole, this is actually Terry's father, Nicole's father, who is Terry Arter. And he had he had a huge he lived life and he liked Jeeps and he liked... So
yes.
What did you actually organise for Nicole?
Well, with this we asked her for all the photographs of the favourite memories of the family.
Yeah.
And we went to Colourful Coffins, all the photographs, and we ended up with this design, which I think is magnificent.
Now, can you just have a quick look at this? Can you think of a better way to actually celebrate the life of somebody that you care about, that you love? I think this is amazing. Now, Nicole Arter actually allowed us to have this reproduction of her father's coffin, and these are Nicole's own words about her father's coffin design. And she said, well, my dad wasn't a churchgoer, and everything about a traditional funeral wasn't for my dad. The black coffins were dark, heavy, and didn't reflect my dad at all. He was all about life and doing things. We saw a leaflet from you guys with pictures of Land Rovers and Jeeps in the summer countryside. My dad loved these Jeeps and had one himself, so Mum and I jumped at this. Well, we thought, if you can have a picture of him, why can't it be covered in his pictures? Colourful Coffins kindly agreed, and this led to my dad's beautiful coffin, which is my dad to a T. He did it his way and went out in style, being led into a leafy open area by silver Land Rovers. His service was out in the open under the trees and with the sound of a cuckoo in the background. He left us again in the silver Jeeps, and everyone waved as the cars turned the corner and left to the sounds of Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. Oops, moment. Nicole said it was utterly perfect and utterly him, and his funeral became a treasured memory of joy, not sadness, doom and gloom. I love that it's inspired other people to let their loved ones say goodbye while highlighting their best memories in colourful pictures. It is very unusual, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about it is that this was exactly what the family wanted, okay?
Yeah.
And obviously they made this decision after Terry had unfortunately passed away. But you can almost see that by combining this with a funeral plan, you can have that discussion together. You know, what would you want? How do you want it? And it's not for everybody, okay? Some people do like the traditional funerals, and of course you can have those as well, and many people do. But those that do want something a little bit different, that really reflects personality and shows a long life at the end of the day that we've lived, and can celebrate it, the life, it is a wonderful thing to do.
I think it is amazing. Now, if you are interested in a colourful coffin, then just ask one of the advisors at SafeHands. And again, just pick up the phone and call 0845 200 400. Now, in my opinion, the beauty of looking at the SafeHands plans is that the investment is a lot less than you think it's going to be. I like the fact very much that there's not going to be hassle, there's not going to be stress, there's not going to be any arguments within the family, because you've said what you want. Now, if you don't know what you want at the moment, it actually doesn't matter, because you can get your plan and then talk to the family, talk to your daughters, talk to your son, your husband, talk to other people in the family, so that when you decide what you want in your plan, everybody's going to be happy with it. Because it's sad enough to know that somebody in your family is going to be upset. At least you know that you can take this stress out of that situation. Just dial SafeHands 0845 5200 400. Now, it doesn't even matter where you live in the country, because SafeHands will, the funds that are available tell me about the independent funeral directors.
Okay. Well, what SafeHands do, they have their plans available and they can be allocated, in theory, to any independent funeral director in the country, of which there are over 3,000 at the moment. So, you know, providing that they're not owned by a national corporation that won't accept the plans, any independent, your local on the side of the street, Smith & Sons, whoever it may be, ABC Funerals, if they're independent, we can allocate it to them, absolutely
So
fine.
I can go to a specific place if I want to?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. The great thing about SafeHands is you can have exactly what you want, where you want it, and we do our best to accommodate that.
Now, would any funeral directors not accept a plan, and if so, why wouldn't they?
Okay, fine. SafeHands are unique in the fact that we exclusively allocate plans at the point of death. So when you take out a plan, you can specify a funeral director, but we will wait until somebody has passed away before we allocate it to that director. The reason for that are manifold, but the main reasons, okay, people are living for a lot longer these days.
I intend to.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And if it's 20, 30, 40, 50 years in your case...
My daughter says that I'm going to be here for another 60 years.
Fantastic.
I won't be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but on a serious note, there are people that take out these plans. They're available to anybody over the age of 18. 60 years is not unrealistic. No. Okay, but the funeral director you may have picked at that time, firstly, may be out of business.
Yes.
Okay. They may have been bought out by a national firm that can't accept the plans. You may have moved address.
Yeah.
Okay, which is absolutely fine.
Yes.
So the reason we do it at the point of the person passing away is to give you the best chance of getting a funeral director of your choice. Currently at SafeHands we have over a 98% acceptance rate of all our funeral plans.
98%?
Sure, yeah.
I think that's pretty healthy. Now, talking to you, and obviously also talking to Terry that you met just a moment ago, it's very human. It's very concerned. It's very caring. Everything that you do is to make sure that people get what they want to have, but also take the worry away. Now, of those 2% that might turn down a plan, what happens then? Okay, well, what we do, first of all, this is first-time acceptance. So if somebody says we're not able to do it, there are some things we can't control. They may be out of business, like we discussed, okay, and that's included. But if somebody says we can't do it because maybe, you know, we charge more, or, you know, maybe the funeral director is unavailable to do it, and maybe they're so busy they can't. Maybe the requests are so unique that they can't facilitate it. Our job at the NFFD and with SafeHands is to try and help the funeral director facilitate it. If not, we will allocate it to the next nearest reputable independent funeral director. So if somebody said they won't accept the plan, you don't just give the money back, you find the right place. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't about money. This is about having a funeral that you want. Okay, and the way we see it is if it's a funeral that you want, then a reputable funeral director will provide that for you. Yeah. So we will. Many towns, you know, you'll know yourself, there are funeral directors on every corner these days. Yes. So if ABC Funerals don't accept it, 1, 2, 3 funerals may accept it 50 yards down the road, and that's absolutely fine. Do you know, it's amazing, because it's like when I used to be self-employed and I knew I'd got to do my taxes, I would put doing my taxes off and off and off until it was the biggest stress in my life. I think the beauty of this is that when you're sitting here now and you're calm and rational and everybody's healthy and happy and hale and hearty, you can just sort of sit there and go, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that. And you can think about what you want it to be for your family and for your friends. And then you can forget it. You don't need to remember it ever again, do you? Yeah, and that's absolutely the key thing. And you may have some people sitting there worried that, you know, maybe they really want to do this, but they don't have £3,000 sitting there waiting, okay? We do have a number of options available, which the guys at the call centre will be able to advise people on different ways of spreading the cost. That's not a problem either. But it's not the biggest cost. I assumed it would be, well, because when I knew you were coming in, I did a little bit of research. Right, okay. And I wasn't looking at 3,000s. I was looking at a lot more. Yes. And I was surprised. Now, when I was talking to Will earlier on, what you actually said to me, and if this offends anybody else in the industry, I'm very sorry, but what you said to me was, you don't actually see why people charge so much, because you want it clear and transparent, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. Part of our ethos at the National Federation of Funeral Directors is cost transparency throughout the industry.
Yeah.
The reason for that, it protects the consumer,
yeah.
okay, which are what trade associations are primarily there for,
yeah.
but also it gives guidance to people wanting to come into the industry to set up funeral directors, that
yes.
actually there is a market out there and there are people that want to do it, and there's still money to be made as a viable business.
You're setting the standards for everybody, as far as I can see.
We're trying to. I mean, unfortunately, the standards have already been set. Our job is to make it as transparent as possible and maybe renegotiate those
yeah.
standards for a fairer deal for all parties.
That is fabulous. Right, so you know the number, 0845 520 4000. I don't want anybody to be maudlin. I don't want anybody to feel bad. But every single one of us knows that the day will come eventually. And if you can do something now that will then exercise your wishes, however simple they are, or however elaborate, because if you want the horse drawn, it's going to be available for you. But your wishes to make it easier for your family and your loved ones at a time when they're going to be a bit upset. So have a listen, if you will. Have a look, rather, at some of the things that people have actually said about using SafeHands. Now, Derek Smith from London said, after our first port of call proved too expensive, SafeHands sourced Rose Funerals for us, who were well within the planned budget. They turned out to be first class and terrific value. SafeHands were excellent, and we felt they genuinely cared about the service they were providing. My late mother's plan was carefully and respectfully carried out, and she would have been delighted with the outcome. That was Derek Smith from London. Here's another one. This is Peter Dool from Wakefield, and he said, SafeHands were recommended to me by a family friend. We first looked online to compare prices with other companies, but found them to be the cheapest. We arranged our plans over the telephone and found them to be polite, knowledgeable, not at all pushy or demanding. Talking about funerals wasn't very nice, but it's comforting to know that ours are now taken care of, and that of our family won't have the stress of arranging or paying for them. We have no hesitation in recommending SafeHands to anyone considering taking out a funeral plan. Now, I suppose we really ought to have a closer look at the plans, because this isn't something that comes into your mind. And you've probably got, just the same as me, absolutely no idea of what you would like. So let's go to the first plan. This is the Pearl plan. And the Pearl plan covers all the director's fees and services, a lined and fitted coffin, 2 staff, and bereavement assistance as well. So for me, love the idea of a simple, traditional service. So the Pearl plan, it is about simplicity, but it will still meet the needs of the families and friends, won't it?
Yes, absolutely, Dana. I don't want your viewers to think that this is a basic plan, okay?
No.
This is everything that you would expect from a traditional funeral.
Yes.
Okay.
So it should be traditional, really, shouldn't it? Because,
absolutely.
yeah.
But even within this, you can still have a personal touch, okay? We talked about taking care of the cost of everything in
Yes.
this plan. With all 3 plans, you can personalise it as much as you want.
So even if I take out the Pearl plan now, and as my daughter would like, live another 60 years, that cost is met and covered and safe.
Absolutely. What we do at SafeHands, we guarantee that no matter how long you live, no matter how much funeral costs rise, okay, that all your funeral director's fees and services will be covered by your SafeHands plan. And
then, of course, you get somebody like Terry to help look after it all for you. Right, let's talk about Sapphire plans. So, have a look at the Sapphire plan. So, again, director's fees and services. A veneered finished coffin, 4 bearers, a limousine to follow, and again, obviously, bereavement and assistance. Now, this one is the one that most people do actually opt for, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Denise. This is our most popular plan.
Yeah.
Okay. What we need to look at as well, it also includes things like the arranging of the funeral with all
Yeah.
3 plans. Okay. you can take care of everything that you need to do. All the funeral is being arranged, and all the family need to do is make one phone call to SafeHands. They don't have to Google funeral directors. They don't have to wonder, who do I call, where do I go? They call SafeHands on our dedicated 24-hour bereavement line. We will talk them through everything, and after that one phone call, everything is taken care of with all 3 plans.
Right, let's go to Ruby. Let's go to the Ruby plan straight away, because this one, directors' fees and services, an oak veneer coffin with gloss, 4 pallbearers, 2 following limousines. Now, these ones, your funeral directors, they don't mind being called 24/7, do they? Any time of the day or night?
Absolutely. I mean, funeral directors, they're in the business because, unfortunately, people pass away 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, OK? Now, SafeHands has a bereavement line open all of those times, and we are in contact with funeral directors 24 hours a day. So with one phone call, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, OK, and somebody has unfortunately passed away at home, you can call us. One of our funeral directors, like Terry, will come out and will sit with the family for a good hour or 2 hours, however long they need, and talk them through the process. If a plan is in place, everything is already taken care of.
And the beauty about taking out a plan is that it actually doesn't matter how much costs rise. You will be protected against those rises. Those rises will never affect you, and they will never, perhaps more importantly, affect your sons and your daughters, your loved ones. You are protected. Now, just to give you an idea what things are like, we've got Daniel Stevenson on the line, who is one of the advisors on the end of the phones at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, Dan is actually our head of call centre operations, working with the advisors, but I think he's taking calls as well, yes. OK,
so I hope he's there. Hello, Dan.
Hi there.
Hi, Dan. Thank you very much for calling in. Dan,
no problem.
It's good to speak to you. A few questions. When people call you, what can they expect when somebody, say when an Ideal World viewer calls you, what can they expect from you?
Well, firstly, they can expect a first-class customer service. We are a call centre who's based in the UK. And what our funeral planning consultants will actually do is they will tailor-make each plan to the client's needs and wishes for either them or their family. What that does, like Will and yourself have mentioned today, that will alleviate any uncertainty for that unfortunate day. And what it also does is it makes sure that those wishes are delivered at today's price.
Now, the other thing is, you do actually advise people. You try and make sure that people don't spend more than they need to, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you know, we've had a scenario already where somebody may call up and, you know, they're looking to be buried, and they're looking at the Pearl plan, but it may mean that, you know, they need 4 bearers as opposed to 2 bearers. So we may advise to go for a Sapphire plan as opposed to maybe the Pearl, and it might be vice versa. What we don't want to be doing is going in with a top plan when that may not deliver to that client's needs. What we are looking to do is deliver a plan and tailor-make exactly to what that client wants.
Now, when people call up, are they a bit hesitant? Because I'm thinking now, I'm wanting Ideal World viewers to call you, because this is one stress and worry that can actually be put in a box and put away. We don't need this stress, we don't need this worry. So are people hesitant when they call you?
Yeah, well, like I said, what we do get is a range of clients who do call into ourselves, but we offer a first-class customer service. We are very friendly and approachable, and what we do need to understand as well, it may be an emotional time for some people, and we accommodate to whatever that client's needs is. So, by all means, yes, we can deal with any circumstances, whether they're here, near, there, or everywhere.
Thank you so much, Dan. Really good to talk
problem.
to you. I hope that lots of Ideal World viewers decide to give you a call and have a chat, because I know you're there to help advise. Thank you. Now, when people do actually call up, what are the questions that they ask most of the time?
OK, the first question we always get asked is, if I pay $3,000 for a funeral today, what happens to the money? Where does it go?
Yeah, where does the money go?
Yeah, it's a great question, OK. As with any reputable funeral plan company, OK, we have a secure ring-fenced trust fund that's managed independently of SafeHands. Now, I won't bore you too much with the details, but what that means is your money goes into a big pot that's being looked after by nationally acclaimed trustees, a national firm of solicitors through the HSBC Bank.
Right.
Okay, and we invest in government-backed stocks and bonds to make sure that your investment is safe and secure for when the time comes.
What if somebody wants to buy for someone else? So I may be sitting, unfortunately my mum died in the 70s, quite a long time ago, but what if somebody's watching and they actually want to buy on somebody else's behalf?
Yeah, we have a range of options at SafeHands. Basically, we don't limit anything. We try to accommodate. This is what we try and get across. We will try and accommodate. You can buy something on somebody else's behalf.
Yeah.
Just let the guys at the call centre know who that person is so we can write the plan. Equally, if you're a husband and wife and you want to buy a plan, you can buy one for both, or you can buy one where you put both names on and the first person to pass away benefits from the plan.
Yeah.
And then they just buy a second plan for themselves. What we do at SafeHands, you can actually transfer your plan to anybody else if they were to unfortunately pass away, completely free of charge. So we've had some unfortunate instances recently where maybe a younger member of the family has passed away. Okay, it's a really difficult time, especially with the younger generation, because it's unexpected. Okay, so what we do is alleviate the financial burden and the stress of arranging it. You can transfer your plan to anybody else completely free of charge with SafeHands.
And of course, if you do want to make changes, you can make changes, can't you?
Yeah, any changes you want to make at all to all the lists we talked about, your music, your guests, your dress code, you can make at any time by calling us 24 hours a day, and we will make those changes completely free of charge as well.
Now, obviously, the way that SafeHands are handling this time for most people at home has been incredibly successful, because I know that via recommendation, you've now achieved a secure place in the marketplace in just a very, very short period of time. But what actually happens if SafeHands weren't here anymore?
Great. I mean, it is a fantastic question, okay? If SafeHands were not here anymore, okay, in 10, 20, 30 years' time, okay, because we don't have any access to the trust, it's dealt with independently, the money is still secure and safe, and either the customer will get their funeral through another provider, or they'll get a financial return on that. So that's not something we need to worry about. I have no control over that. It's taken care of separately.
I don't think it's my place to say, but I would like to say well done, SafeHands, because from talking to the people I've met at SafeHands, the way you're doing it, the openness, the transparency, making it so that people don't have to worry, I think it's fantastic. Now, you may have done like some of those testimonials have done, and like I did last night, did a little bit of research to look out what sort of prices have to be found at a tragic time. So have a look at this, because these are the price comparisons. Now, these are on the marketplace at the moment. And when you have a look at SafeHands, you can see that you are making, you don't want people to spend £700 more if they don't have to, do you?
Yeah, that's absolutely key, okay, and we are confirmed as one of the cheapest providers throughout the market, as you've seen here. Okay?
But it's not at the detriment to the service or the quality or the respect.
Absolutely. As we discussed, you can pick any other independent funeral director in the UK, of which, as I mentioned, there are 3,000. So potentially with our plans, you would get the same funeral director that you would get with other plans, okay, conducting the same service in the same venue on the same day, just for hundreds of pounds cheaper.
But you'd pay less.
Yeah, and what's absolutely great as well, we're also offering the free will and lasting power of attorney in addition to that great price today.
Now, we haven't even spoken about that, because you're actually getting an extra benefit worth over £400, which is free lasting power of attorney and also a will writing service. Now, we will be talking about those in just a moment, but I think the problem is that you might think to yourself now, well, I'm going to buy the Pearl plan, and that's that, and then I can forget it. But maybe in a few years' time it comes back into your head. And what if people want to change their minds? If I've given a few ideas and sections, what if I want to change my mind later on?
So if you've personalised the plan and you want to change it, that's absolutely fine. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you can change any details on there you wish. Okay, completely free of charge.
And you're not going to penalise me financially?
Not at all. Just give us a call.
Well, not that I'll be around, but, you know, you're not going to penalise the family?
No, absolutely. Providing they're not asking for an extra service like a horse and cart on top or something which incurs a cost. Any administrative changes, change of address, change of venue, change of wishes, are completely free of charge.
What are the normal costs associated with a funeral that you normally don't prepay that we will be taking care of with our plan?
Yeah, I mean, there are two types of plan out there, if you like. There are some that just covers the funeral director's fees,
yes,
which means your funeral director is getting paid to organise the service, which is a very good thing to have. What we have at SafeHands, and the ones we've compared against today, are what we call all-inclusive plans. So you get all your funeral director's fees, okay, and you also get your disbursement fees like we talked about at the start. If you're going to be cremated, you need 2 doctors to sign a death certificate. You need minister fees, cremation fees, typically around £900. What you don't get with SafeHands, and this is very important for your viewers, you don't get a burial plot. Okay,
right,
if you want to be buried.
Of course.
About 80% of people in the UK are being cremated these days, but those that want to be buried, please do. Please buy a plan, they're the same price, but you'll need to source your plot. Again, our guys at the call centre are trained to help you deal with that as well.
Now, what about eco-friendly burials and woodland burials? Because that's rising in popularity as well, isn't it?
It really is. You know, like everything these days, it's all about being eco-friendly and what can we do for the planet and what can we give back, okay? At SafeHands here, we can accommodate for eco-friendly funerals, for woodland burials as well. But again, I would suggest speak to the call centre to get a personalised quote on those.
And is there's an either-or option as well, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's a great option for those families that maybe can't afford to buy 2 plans at the same time, of which many do. Okay, they can put husband and wife on the plan, they can record all of their wishes, so husband's favourite songs, wife's favourite songs, and this isn't exclusive to people that are married, okay, it's any 2 people, and the first person to pass away will fully benefit from the plan.
Now, supposing somebody at home has said, I would like to look at some of the finance options, and maybe somebody passes before the finance has been, all the instalments have been sorted. Okay,
great. And it is a question that's asked for us quite a lot, okay? You have a fixed term to pay it over. If somebody is unfortunate enough to pass away before that, then all the next of kin have to do is pay the balance of the plan.
Fabulous.
Okay, so you may have been paying it off for X amount of time, half the time left. Everything is still in place, your wishes are still there, your price is still secured at the day you bought it, today's prices. All the family have to do is pay the small bit that's left over, which is considerably less than what they would have to do without the plan.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, I know that you don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it, but in the last 2 weeks, I have spoken to, gospel truth, I've spoken to at least 5 people that are making plans for their old age, for their retirement, and for their future. So if I've spoken to 5 people that are planning downstairs loos, homes they can downsize into, looking at plans, I think it says to me that we're all going to be thinking about that sooner or later. Now, the beauty of today is that if you think about it now, you don't need to think about it ever again. I'm trusting SafeHands with planting me. Not that I'm going to be planted, but I'm trusting them with planting me. I actually think that their method of working, their transparency, I think it's going to be right for all of us and right for our loved ones. I don't want my daughters stressed and any more upset than they need to be. And I would like things done and dusted. Thank you very much. So if you feel anything like I do, then just get on the phones. Your phone number is 0845 520 4000, 0845 520 4000. And again, to hear what people have said about SafeHands, I think makes you feel more comfortable as well.
Recently I saw a news story concerning the rising costs of funerals. They're expected to double over the next 10 years. To my amazement, I heard that a funeral today will cost around £5,000 or more. That really got me thinking. I'm only 55 and don't plan on passing away anytime soon. However, if a funeral costs £10,000 in 10 years, when I finally do pass away, how much will my family have to find? I was discussing this with a friend of mine who recently lost her husband. She told me she'd taken out something called a prepaid funeral plan. I went online and compared a number of different funeral plans. SafeHands stood out as the most affordable. But as cost wasn't my only consideration, I decided to give them a call. The agent I spoke to was very sensitive to my needs and very knowledgeable. He went to great lengths to explain how the plan works and how in fact there are 3 plans from which I can choose and what was included in each. SafeHands guarantee that there will always be enough funds in my plan to cover all the necessary costs for my funeral. It didn't take long for me to realise that SafeHands must be my first choice. Thanks to SafeHands, I don't have to worry anymore about rising costs. I can get on with my life, safe in the knowledge that when the time comes, my funeral arrangements are taken care of and my family have been relieved of a huge financial burden.
Just pick up the phone and then forget it. That's what I like. I don't want stress. Now, I've been joined by Ian Peace. Ian,
afternoon,
thank you so much. Lovely to have you with us. You are Sales Director at Legacy Probate Services.
That's correct.
Now, years ago, I've been at Ideal World since 2000, but years ago, I thought that it was enduring power of attorney, because I fully intend, when I get on a bit, to sit around and talk weird for a couple of years. It's in my plan. It's in my plan. Please explain, because to Ideal World viewers, without any charge, you are going to give them enduring power of attorney and a will service, lasting power of attorney. See, I said it again. So please explain enduring, lasting power of attorney.
Enduring power of attorney was actually replaced by a lasting power of attorney in 2007 following the legislation of the Mental Capacity Act. An enduring power of attorney went so far, a lasting power of attorney is a much more detailed document.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, the problems arise with, we're talking about end-of-life planning today.
Yeah.
And if we're at this point in our life now and we plan for the end of life, that's great. A lasting power of attorney is designed to cover that gap in between.
Yes.
The what if. And the what if could be if someone's, you know, seriously ill, they're involved in an accident, or they suffer from dementia.
Yeah.
The Alzheimer's Society did a report last year that says there's 800,000 people with dementia at the moment. And another fun stat is that 1 in 3 of people over 65 years old are also likely to suffer with it.
Yeah.
And the problems that creates is, if you think about the people that you deal with every day, so banks, building societies, just day in, week out, month in, month out, that we take for granted dealing with all our affairs. If you can't do that yourself, who actually steps in and does that?
See, that's the thing, because if you don't have enduring power of attorney, when the need arises,
lasting power of attorney.
I can't get it out of my head. If you don't have lasting power of attorney when the need arises, you can't set it up then, can you?
No, unfortunately, this is very much a case of when it's too late, it really is too late, and that's
so
when...
how does it work? How would it work?
Essentially, when you've got the capacity to do so, you become a donor, you effectively donate your powers to someone that you trust, so someone that you want to manage your affairs.
My husband, my daughters, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And effectively, you convey that power to them, and I'm oversimplifying this, but effectively, you make somebody else you in the eyes of all the institutions that you deal with. And you can't really put a value or a price on that.
No.
At a time when families are actually, they're almost grieving a loss in a weird way.
It's my girls are going to be devastated, I know they are. Now, so what happens if I haven't done one and I do lose, either through health, lose capacity?
This is when it can get really complicated. If you've lost capacity, then obviously someone needs to step forward. For want of a better description, someone needs to volunteer. Now, the first problem is that's not always someone that you would have chosen for yourself. That person, whoever it is, then has to go through what's called the Court of Protection to get a deputyship order. That can both be time-consuming and cost a substantial amount of money, running into thousands. And the silly thing is once someone's obtained that deputyship order, there might still be restrictions from the court, so you still have to go to the court for permission to actually manage someone's affairs. With a lasting power of attorney, you avoid all of that, and again, I'm oversimplifying, but effectively someone can just step into your shoes and carry on, so it minimises the stress and the grief at that time.
Now, I think everybody would realise that lasting power of attorney is something that it's very, very worthwhile. But the other thing is, everybody should have a valid will in place, shouldn't they?
Everyone should have a valid will in place. The reality is people who don't have a will, and this is a perfectly acceptable assumption, think that they haven't got a will because they haven't made one. And the harsh reality is...
I know.
The harsh reality is if you haven't made your own will, you're effectively accepting what I call the government will, which is what's called the rules of intestacy. And if you pass away and you've not made your own will, then your estate, so everything that you own when you die, is actually distributed according to a set of questions. The first question actually asking about your marital status. So unfortunately, what you own doesn't always go to the people that you expect it to or that you would want it to.
So the sort of problems that can occur if you do pass without a valid will?
Yeah. Well, very, very quick story. There was a young man who passed away fairly recently. He'd never married, he'd never had children. The first question that the rules ask is, are you married? And of course the answer was no. The next question, do you have children? No, so that takes us to parents. And his estate was shared equally between his parents. The backstory was his father had actually divorced his mother when he was a baby, and there'd been no contact for over 40 years. No birthday
He
cards,
wouldn't have
nothing
wanted
like
that to happen, would he?
You can presume not.
Yeah.
You can presume not, but unfortunately he died without a will, so he died intestate, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what did happen.
And
So,
as part of this Safe Hands plan, you're actually giving lasting power of
Well done,
attorney
yes.
and a will-making service as well, aren't you?
absolutely. The will itself, it's so much more than people think. It's not just a piece of paper. If you make your own will, you can choose who's going to administer it, so
Yeah.
someone that you trust is going to carry out your wishes. You can choose things like what age your children or grandchildren inherit
Yes.
at. As a father of 2 young boys, I don't want my
Yeah.
boys to inherit at 18. Fundamentally, you choose who inherits.
Yes.
You know, not a set of rules made by the government. Also, you know, in line with what we're talking about today, we document funeral wishes, funeral plans,
Yeah.
and we make that known to the wider family.
What would you say to one of the Ideal World viewers watching at the moment that hasn't made a will, hasn't got a valid will in place?
Take this opportunity. A lot of people at the back of their minds know that they should have a will, they just haven't quite got around to
Yeah.
it. You know, take this opportunity. Phone the 08455 524,000 number. There's an advisor waiting for someone there,
Yeah.
waiting to, you know, answer those questions. So just take that opportunity and have a chat. You know, talk is cheap.
And let's put the plans up again for you, because if you've just tuned in, I'm sure you're thinking about £12,000, etc. Safe Hands have got, well, they've got more plans, but we've got 3 plans available for you today. And first of all, we've got the Pearl plan. Now, let me go back to Will. Will, what does the traditional Pearl plan include?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Denise, OK? It is exactly that. You get a traditional funeral, so all your directors' fees and services, including all the plans. You get a lined and fitted quality coffin, industry-standard coffin, 2 staff to carry out the funeral for you, and all your bereavement assistance. One thing we haven't mentioned already, in all 3 plans, you get a mutually agreeable time and date of the funeral that the next of kin and funeral director will agree between themselves. Now, this is crucial with all of our plans,
Yes.
because a lot of people have family that live a long way away, some live abroad.
Yes.
Now, if a funeral director was to go to you and say, your mum back in the 70s, her funeral is on
Yeah.
Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and you've got a brother in Australia, he can't get there.
No.
So the idea of all 3 of these plans, it's a mutually agreeable time.
He's in San Francisco.
Well,
So
I was
thank
close.
you. Yeah, and also other religions as well. It's necessary that it's sorted when they actually happen, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of rules and beliefs throughout the religious spectrum, OK? And what we do at Safe Hands is, the idea is you're getting the funeral you want.
Yeah.
So whether that's a Christian funeral, a Catholic funeral, a Jewish, Muslim funeral, a Sikh funeral,
Yeah.
or even an atheist funeral and a celebratory event,
Yeah.
OK? You get what you want. We work with national networks of funeral directors who will
Yeah.
carry out your wishes.
Oh, see, doesn't it just seem to take a weight off your mind? Let's go for the Sapphire plan now. And this is the one that most people do actually seem to go for.
Yeah.
So, the Sapphire plan.
OK, the Sapphire plan is what we call sort of our most popular plan, on the basis that it covers everything we discussed before. What you do have in addition is one following limousine for friends and family that can follow the hearse, which is becoming more and more popular.
Yes.
What we do say, for those that wish to get buried, we will usually recommend a Sapphire plan, because you get 4 bearers. OK,
Yeah.
and 4 bearers are required at a burial. But again, the call centre will be able to advise you of that.
And let's go to the Ruby plan as well. And remember, there are finance options available. Please ask the advisors on the end of the phone. So talk us through the Ruby, please.
Okay, the Ruby plan is our executive plan, if you like. It's our top plan, where basically everything that we've already heard of is included. You get a superior oak veneered coffin or rosewood effect coffin, okay, which is an upgraded coffin. You get 2 following limousines for those of us with a larger family. You get your mutually agreeable time and date, as with all.
Yeah.
And you get a full, what we call coffin spray, which are the flowers at the top of the coffin, which is included all in that price as well.
And this plan price if you agree your plan now, if you either pay for your plan now or you take advantage of finance options for your plan, even if it's 60 years in the future, no matter what's happened to the prices, you don't have to pay. It's done. Your family do not have to spend more money. So for the people that have just tuned in, who are SafeHands? And you are different.
Yes.
You are different. You do have a different ethos to other companies. So who are SafeHands, and why have people been so satisfied with SafeHands service?
Great. Well, again, SafeHands are the newest plan company in the UK. Okay. What we did, we actually looked at the market. So we worked with them from the National Federation of Funeral Directors. We looked at what was on the market. Funeral plans are a great thing to buy, and all these other companies out there are providing a great product. But we looked at how to do it cheaper and with a more personable service. Okay. So for just over 4 years now, the SafeHands product has been available, and we're growing into our thousands. And
a lot of recommendation. I mean, you have achieved a very, very good position in the marketplace in a very short space of time.
Yeah, we absolutely have. I mean, the reason people say to me, well, why are your costs so low? You know, why does SafeHands keep their costs low, and why do you endorse that? SafeHands don't have a sales force.
No.
They don't pay salesmen to go around and sell the product. What they have, through the National Federation of Funeral Directors, is a network of reputable and trusted will writers, financial advisors, accountants, that recommend our product, along with any other plan on the market, to their clients. And their clients are deciding to take SafeHands over and over again, and that's why we're growing so quickly.
I just want to make sure that everybody realises that something that could be really fraught for members of your family doesn't have to be, because thanks to SafeHands, it's really easy to tick the boxes and forget about it. Right, 0845 520 4000. Before we leave, this is what other people have said about SafeHands. I bought a funeral plan for my mother after my father died. I found SafeHands on the internet. I called them and they sent me a rep to visit me at home. He was very nice and spent a long time explaining everything to me, making sure everything is right for when my mother passes away. I found everything very simple and stress-free, and feel better knowing when my mother passes away, all her wishes will be taken care of. I can highly recommend SafeHands. Now, we're out of time, so we'll thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please pass my thanks on to Ian, and pass my thanks on to Terry as well. We don't want our family, our children, we don't want them to have worry and stress at a time that's really bad for them. We want SafeHands. Call the number.
Tower boasts over 100 years of history and is a name that is synonymous with beautiful quality